Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom. Brother Naquam, watchman for Israel, coming back at you with these precepts and another cold cut, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Mashiach, Malaki Bashai. Double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai. A hearty, mighty shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God who are out there in the highways and byways, pushing this truth, magnifying the ministry, presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent, and they're abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Aquath out there, the sincere sisters out there, zealous and diligent and on fire, moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers. Shalom to the ancient men. Shalom to the children. Shalom to the elect of Israel scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to everybody tuning in live through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Abashai, down Israel to me. Shalom, King. Slaki brother Azariah. Shalom. Solomon McFadden. Vernon Brody. Yvette McKellar. Nigel Blends. Yaakov Israel. Hoshaya, Benjamin Youngwood, Shalom, HBK Lit, Shalom, and again, everybody else tuning in and that will tune in, Lord willing. Shabbat Shalom as well, right? It's a beautiful Sabbath day through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Avashai, another day of rest, another day to do this work, another day to be in the spirit and power of Yahweh in the name of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. And this is end times, the watchers of heaven. Right? End times, the watchers of heaven. Let's dive right into it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Awashai. Let's go to Amos, the 9th chapter. Right? Let's dive right into it. End times, the watchers from heaven. Right? We're going to talk about some things that have been going on in the earth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, and how the Most High feels about it, how his son feels about it, how the elect should feel about it, and what's going to befall the heathen in these days. Right? This Amos chapter 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I would not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. So the Most High, he's watching what's going on in the earth right now. Right? The Most High has the eyes that belong to him, which are really the angels. The eyes of the Lord are the angels who come down from the third heaven. They come on the earth and they live amongst the sons of man, and they record the thoughts, the actions, the words, and everything that man does on the earth. And the Lord has the eyes watching because the Heavenly Father is looking at the reasons to judge this earth, right? And he's looking at all of the evil, the sins, the violence, the murders, the rapes, you understand, the pillaging, the injustice, the lack of care, the lack of faith, the lack of compassion, the lack of mercy that's going on in the earth, right? That's what the Most High is looking at. These angels, let me go to Genesis. I want to get this in Genesis, the 22nd chapter, where the Heavenly Father actually has, it's like I want Genesis, the 28th chapter, the Heavenly Father actually has these spirits, right, who come from the heavens and they dwell on the earth and they actually record the things that are taking place on the earth. So, and I'm going to get another precept that made me think of that as well in Ecclesiastes, but let me read this first. This Genesis chapter 28 and 11. And he lighted upon a certain place and tarried there all night because the sun was set. And he took up the stones of that place and put them for his pillows and laid down in that place to sleep. So Jacob was a hard man. He used stones for his pillows, right? And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of the Most High ascending and descending on it. And this is a famous, this vision and dream that Jacob had has become a staple and has become famous in artwork, literature, and even in the world. Jacob's Ladder. They make movies off of this this event. But what Jacob actually saw is he saw the angels coming from the heavenly realm to the earthly realm, from the celestial realm to the terrestrial realm, from the heavens to the earth. Right? That's what he saw. And the ladder represents how the angels ascend and descend. There's a portal, for lack of better terms, as we're about to read, that the Heavenly Father has these doors where the angels can come to and fro from the heavens and the earth. They don't have MapQuest, right? They don't have a GPS tracking system. They don't have Waze, right? They don't need to navigate and go through all this stumbling blocks and roadblocks to get from the heavens to the earth. The Most High has doors and gates in the heavens for them to be able to come and see what's happening on the earth. Right? Let me see if I can get a visual of that. Right? Jacob's ladder. So when we read about the eyes of the Lord upon the sinful kingdom, it's talking about how the angels are watching, witnessing, and recording what's being done in the land of the living. There's no thought, there's no word, there's no action, there's no step, nothing shakes, moves, goes to and fro without the angels recording and knowing of it. I see a lot of these Edomite version pictures, but what happened, again, was the angels going to and fro from the heavens to the earth. You see that? This door or this portal allows the angels to maneuver, right? So they go up to the third heaven and they bring reports about things that are happening on the earth, right? They bring about different things that man has done. They present the prayers of the saints, and then they come down and they deal with man. Sometimes the angels are here to protect you. Sometimes the angels execute judgment. Sometimes the angels work on your spirit to strengthen you. And they use this ladder, for lack of better terms, this pathway of ascension and descension to come down on the earth, right? Let's go back to this in Genesis chapter 28 to give that foundation. Genesis chapter 28 and 13. And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord God of Abraham thy father and the God of Isaac. The land whereon thou liest, to thee will I give it, and to thy seed. And thy seed shall be as the dust of the earth, and thou shalt spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in thee and in thy seed shall all families of the earth be blessed. This was the promise that was given to Jacob, as well as his father Isaac, as well as his father Abraham. Genesis 28 and 15. And behold, I am with thee, and will keep thee in all places whither thou goest, and will bring thee again into this land, for I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken to thee of. And Jacob awaked out of his sleep and said, surely Yahweh is in this place, and I knew it not. See, a lot of people think that places that you go are just ordinary places that are not affected by the spiritual realm. Everywhere you go, the angels and the spirits and the demons and principalities are there. And you have to look at life when you come into this truth with your spiritual mind. And everything's always spiritual, right? Everything's spiritual. Everything is of Yahweh Ba'ashmi Yahushua. And then you perceive things from a carnal level. So you might go into a place at your job. There are spirits there, actual spirits, actual angels. Angels are spirits. Demons, which are angels on the left-hand side. They're in that place. They're working on the mind of adversaries to overthrow you. They're working on the minds of Edomites to be merciful to you. They're working on spirits to tempt you. So when Jacob was in the land, he said, well, the Most High is in his place. I didn't know it, right? And he was afraid and said, how dreadful is his place. This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven, right? He said the land of Israel is the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So the gate of heaven allows the angels to enter and to exit from the earthly terrestrial realm back to the heavenly realm. right? And again, that's the headquarters. That's the spiritual headquarters, for lack of better terms. I want to go into this word gate that the Most High gave the angels. So here's that word gate. It reads gate of entrance, gate of a palace, royal castle, temple, court, or tabernacle. In its original sense, an opening, door or gate, city, door, gate, or a port. That's where you get the word portal from. The word portal means door. So let's go back to Amos 9, right? This is Amos chapter 9 and 8. Again, behold, the eyes of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, are upon the sinful kingdom. How? Because the Most High has the angels that are up there in the third heaven. He gives them the decree to come down on the earth and record what is going on in the sinful kingdom, which in this context and prophecy is Babylon the Great. And I would destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I would not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. And there's a lot of things as of late that's going on in the earth that the Heavenly Father is using the angels to record and to behold. Right? Let me pull this one up. And some of these things you brothers are familiar with. Where is this one at? Not this one. Hold on, there's a lot we want to get into. Now, this is as of late, the Most High been putting the spirit on these Edomites, man, to show their horns. Right? First, you had the brother, which I'm gonna get to as well. He went to that island with them Edomites and never came back. And you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American men, women are going to learn that the so-called white man is your enemy, man. No matter how they feign themselves, how polite or professional they come off to be, the Bible tells you it's only a matter of time before they show that evil, right? It's only a matter of time before they show their evil. And Yahweh's watching these things, man. He's watching all of the murders. And it's not new. The Most High didn't just realize what's going on in the earth. These things are always being recorded, and the sins are being documented and heaped up in the third heaven. Now, when you look at this clip, which I'm going to play momentarily, this Jake went out in the middle of some, God knows where he's at. I don't know exactly where he's at. I didn't do a whole lot of research on it, but I understood the situation. He went out with these Edomites, and these Edomites left him for dead, literally left him for dead. He's telling them that he can't swim. I can't make this happen. They started making monkey noises, and they straight up left him. Now, if the Most High put the spirit on this other Edomite family, and you could tell that they didn't even want to deal with them, but they had to deal with the spirit that the Most High put on them. So the Most High had to kind of use them to deliver this Jake, man. And this happens all the time. Let me get this verse in Sirach, the 12th chapter, right? The so-called black man, you are going to learn. You're going to learn one day. And they should be showing you now. You're going to learn one day to leave this devil alone. You're the only brother there, man. You the token Jake. You're trying to rub elbows. You're trying to be accepted. These Edomites are plotting to kill you. They're plotting to take your organs. A lot of Jakes, man, they finding out these Edomites be killing them, and then they find out they don't have no more hearts, or they don't have another heart. They're missing the kidney. Their liver's gone. Their teeth are missing out their mouth. This is Sirach chapter 12 and 10, a classic. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So it's only a matter of time before iron rust. It may look shiny. It may look clean. It may look pure, but that's only for a moment of time. Just like the so-called white man. And a lot of you Jakes, man, you like to say, oh, well, he's invited to the cookout, or he's not that bad of an Edomite, or he's my friend, or he has black friends. You're going to find out that every single white man, white woman, white child, they hate you. And it's nothing you could say to convince us otherwise, because God said so. Last time I read in Genesis, let me get this real quick. What did Esau say? right? He said, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. This is Genesis chapter 4, it's like chapter 27 and verse number 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. And he said this in his mind. I'm going to mourn for Isaac, and my next move is to kill my brother. That's my next move. Right after I mourn for the dead, I'm going to go kill somebody. I'm going to cause another funeral, not just anybody. I'm going to murder Jacob. Do you think that this just stopped in the book of Genesis? You think this is over in the Old Testament? It also tells you in the 25th chapter that they are struggling from the womb. So the hatred and the malice is bred inside of Esau to hate you. And you're going to find out, man. If you don't find out now, if you can't see what the Most High is showing you, you're going to find out in the days to come. This Genesis 27 and 42. I don't hang around so-called white people, man. I got to deal with them at the plantation. I got to be professional. You know, I got to say what I got to say. I'm going to have to shake an Edomite hand, man. You know, I may have to kind of do what I got to do to a degree. But the line is over right there. I'm not going to a lake with a bunch of Edomites. Hell no, I'm not going to no lake, man. Esau loved to put you in an environment with water, man. It can kill you. He likes to put you into this vast open area of destruction. It's like he gets off on that. Gator bait, he likes to put you in the water, slave ships. Take you to damn islands, take your children to lewd islands. So don't be surprised, man. Right? Let me read and tell your children, stay away from these so-called white people, man. My children hate the so-called white man. All praise to the Most High, man. Right? This Genesis 27 and 42. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. How did Rebekah hear the words of Esau if Esau said it into his mind? Well, the Most High revealed it to her. Whether it was a prophet or an angel, the Most High tapped into the heart of Esau and revealed those thoughts into Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob, her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Like we always touch on, this is how the so-called white man finds comfort. He finds comfort in murder. That's what the Bible is saying. He doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. That's how he comforts himself, coming up with plans to murder, plans to dismember you, plans to eat you, plans to assassinate you, plans to kidnap you. That's how he gets comfort. You might get comfort from your woman, a glass of wine, kicking your feet up, man. You find comfort in music and things that an average person or an average Israelite would do. Not the so-called white man. He will not be comforted until he can kill. And all of this that we're going into is being documented by the Most High. Right? Let me go to Proverbs chapter 4. This is Proverbs chapter 4. And let's read verse number 16. I'm going to start at 14. Proverbs chapter 4 and 14. And think about that, man. When you're dealing with these Edomites in the world, at work, remember they hate you. Be wise as a serpent. Be harmless as a dove. Play your role in wisdom, but don't get caught up in that thing, man. Don't get caught up in it, or you're going to get overthrown. Proverbs chapter 4 and 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. So that brother should not have went in the way with them Edomites on that island. He should not have went with them Edomites on that boat. That was my son. I said, hell no, man. This brother right here, where's this brother at? Let me pull this back up. Right, I'm gonna play the clip for brothers that didn't see it. I know a lot of you brothers saw it. I'm gonna play the audio, right? But there's a brother in this clip, man. He had no damn business being in that lake with them Edomite boys. And they probably been plotting to kill him, man. Jealous. This brother's probably more athletic than them. Women probably liked him more, man. He probably dressed flyer than them, you know. They couldn't deal with him on whatever sports or whatever level. So they plotted to kill him, right? That's what we're reading about in the Bible. Proverbs chapter 4 and 15. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. So they can't get a good night's sleep. They couldn't get their 8 hours in until they kill, until they cause mischief, until they write down a plan and purpose to murder you. Then they find comfort. That's what Esau said. I'm going to comfort myself when I propose to come up with a plan to murder and kill Jacob. So let me play this clip real quick, man. Right? We're going to dive into it. Right? That Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, has the holy ones recording these things, man. This is all fair use, right? I'm going to play a few clips back to back to back, and we want to dive into it. So check this out. This says, black people, see, we're not black, we're the Israelites. Stop assuming your kids are safe just because they're hanging around white folks. A black teen was almost murdered by his white friends by a lake. And that Jake Bent told him he can't swim. They knew he couldn't swim. He told him that. That's not something that Jake hide. Especially when you're getting on a boat, you kind of put that out there, rather you joking about it, or rather you just say it, you know.
I ain't got the fucking kayak. You gotta learn how to swim.
This is fucked up.
Should we give him a lift?
Yeah.
Here, tell him to hold on to that.
Everybody, you can swim down, Rebbe, you fucking retard.
So they called him a retard.
Bro, how am I gonna get you back home? You don't think Mama Marquise is gonna be worried? Hey, your mom, my mom's name. My dad's your mom is always worried about you. I think that's why.
And he said, my dad's in prison. It said your mom's going to be worried about you. And Jake said, well, my dad's in prison. He said, that's why. That's what Esau said, man.
Your dad's in prison. Am I looking at you? Bro, you just have a fucking life jacket on, Marquise.
I'll just wait.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
No, I'm black. It doesn't matter. It's not gonna say.
Oh, yes, it does.
Bro, I'll just find a way. Hey.
They made monkey noises at him.
Yeah, they think I'm about to swim back, but I can't swim.
Bro, you have a life jacket.
I'm gonna die.
I'm standing right
Hold
now.
on.
So I can just like hold on to that.
Put your handle right here if you want.
Yeah, I might drown.
You won't drown.
You won't drown. Try to get over there.
You're not gonna drown. I promise you won't drown.
See? And the Most High put that spirit in them Edomites to look out for him, man. Now, what it's by chance is of the Lord. But what if them Edomites wasn't there, man? He would have been caught out there. He would have been caught out there. He would have to deal with it.
There you go.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Hey,
What's your
Oh,
name?
my name is Marquise. But everybody calls me LeVar because I go to like Denella.
are you okay? Are you
Ma'am?
okay? Are you okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was okay getting over here.
See, this is where you don't want to be. I'm going to tell you something, right? This is the last place that you want to be in life. On a rafter, whatever they call these things, a small canoe boat, hoping that the so-called white man comes save you and his family. This is a situation that you do not want to be in. Absolutely not. And then you got the other brother, man. Let me pull this up. Like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time, but I want to play these clips, right? Just to show the evil. A lot of people think this stuff has changed, man. Right? Now, this is black lynchings called suicide. Right? A lot of brothers, you may have forgotten, a lot of sisters may have forgotten, maybe this isn't happening anymore. Maybe that's back in the day, the 1920s, 1800s. This stuff is happening every day. The heathen prosper, the heathen are at ease, and our people are catching hell. And they always say we found this so-called black man, he committed suicide hanging on a tree. Or we found this young so-called black woman, she had a rough life, she hung herself on a tree. I'm going to tell you something about us. We're not hanging ourselves on the tree, man. Esau like to pump these suicide numbers. We don't do a lot of that, man. Don't get me wrong. You got some jakes that commit suicide, but they're not going to hang themselves on a tree. Our people are resilient. Our people are strong. You might look up the numbers now and Esau want to, mess around with the numbers, but the so-called white man be killing himself, man. He the one that be slaughtering his whole family. Then sit in the garage and blow his own damn brains out. He'll murder his daughters and his son in cold blood and then blow his brains out, man. These Edomites be blowing, offing themselves, man, sitting in the car, suffocating to death, popping pills in the bathtub, slitting their wrist in the tub because they can't pay their bills. They can't pay their mortgage. They got to work 2 jobs. Their son, they'll beat their mother with a baseball bat, man, because she took away the PlayStation, the Xbox. So you don't believe, we all know that, don't believe everything this devil tells you, man.
I'm about to give you a list of names of black people that were lynched, and it was deemed a suicide. In February of 2026, just months ahead of the World Cup, Kyle Basinga was found hanging from a tree in Marietta, Georgia. And
he was found hanging from a tree in Marietta, Georgia.
Kyle Basinga was
in Georgia, not in New York City, not in Brooklyn, not in the Bronx. He was found hanging from a tree in Georgia.
Was found hanging from a tree in Marietta, Georgia. Investigators ruled his death a suicide, saying they found no evidence of foul play.
Because they're the ones that did it. A lot of these, people, they're judges, they're lawyers, they're police officers, they're all in it together. They're all in it together.
But his family has publicly rejected that conclusion. Then 16-year-old Juliana Nazita, who was reported missing before she was found hanging from a tree on church property in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, let me go back to the sister, man. She was found hanging from a tree. Charlotte, North Carolina. Young sister.
Was reported missing before she was found hanging from a tree on church property in Charlotte, North Carolina. Police ruled her death a suicide. Her case sparked outrage because many people questioned how a missing black teenager could end up dead in those circumstances with so many unanswered questions. There's DeMartravion Trey Reed, Denoris Richardson, Tori Medley, Robert Fuller, Malcolm Harsh, Lennon Lacey, Raynard Johnson, Keith Warren, Jermaine Carter, Roy Veal, Otis Bird, and DeAndre Montrell Hopkins. In many of these cases, authorities ruled the deaths suicides, while families, civil rights advocates, and community members said the investigations were incomplete or raised serious unanswered questions. A new report released this year by Julian, Justice for Victims of Lynching, argues that there have been more than 70 suspected modern-day lynchings across 7 southern states between.
And that's a rough number, 70. That's spiritual. 70 lynchings.
between 2000 and 2025. According to the organization, those states are Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi.
And those states still got sundown towns, right? They still got sundown towns. If you don't know what a sundown town is, those are cities or towns where you had to be out of there before the sun went down. Because if the sun set on you, then you was put to death, right? And tortured, dismembered, eaten, and killed.
North Carolina, and South Carolina. The report argues that many of these deaths were quickly classified as suicides, which advocates say can prevent homicide investigations from fully developing. Those conclusions are disputed by law enforcement in many of the cases, and the report's findings have not been adopted as official determinations. These families are still searching for answers. They deserve thorough investigations, transparency, and evidence that gives the public confidence in the conclusions. History has taught us why many Black Americans view these cases with deep concern, and that's why every one of these deaths deserve to be examined carefully.
So we know what happened, right? We all know what happened, right? We all see the evil and the corruption that is going on in the earth, right? We all see the evil and the corruption that is going on in the earth. Let's get Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15, right? And there's more, man. You had the brother that was on the island, right? The black, so-called black team, man. Nolan Wells. Is my screen showing? Let me make sure my screen is showing. Come on. The brother Nolan Wells, we all know about him, man. You know? Nobody knows what happened. All they found his phone and all his messages are deleted. All his social media content is deleted. Every text thread is deleted. Everything in the call log is deleted. They essentially formatted his phone back to its default settings. There you go, hanging around all them so-called white people, man. Look at this. Right? Pull this up. Right? I know it's blurry, hey, but it is what it is, man. Right? Being the token Jake go missing. And they're all in on these guys, all hired lawyers. You know, they lawyered up real quick. They say we don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. And everybody came back safe but the brother. Right? Everybody came back safe. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. So these things that are going on now, these things have happened in time past. And Yahweh Bahashmi Awashai, he is a witness to these things, right? He is a witness to these matters. This is Tobit. This made me think of this quick precept just to get this very quickly. Tobit chapter 2 and verse number 2. And when I saw abundance of meat, I said to my son, go and bring what poor man soever thou shalt find of our brethren, who is mindful of the Lord, and lo, I tarry for thee. So at Pentecost, Tobit, being the man of the Lord that he was, he opened up his home for other brothers that feared the Most High to be a partaker of the feast. So I'm going to wait for you. But he came again and said, Father, one of our nation is strangled and is cast out in the marketplace. So you see that? So the spirit of strangling the Israelites, lynching them, choking them out. See, right now, Esau want to choke you out with that damn vice grip, which is the modern lynching, or they'll actually lynch you. They were doing that in ancient Assyria, which is why America is likened it to Nineveh in prophecy, or likened it to Assyria. Strangling the Jews, strangling the Israelites, murdering the saints. Right? Let's go to Zechariah, the 1st chapter. Right? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 1. This is Zechariah chapter 1 and verse number 7. Upon the 24th day of the 11th month, which is the month Sabbath, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, saying. So this happened during the time of the Persian captivity. Zechariah saw many visions, right? And a lot of these visions are based off of the conditions that the Israelites were experiencing at that set time, right? A lot of what Zechariah did and a lot of what Haggai did were solely about what was going on at that time. Okay? Not every prophecy, not every single precept, but what we're going into is based off of the conditions of the earth at this time. Right? Now, Darius was the king of the Persians. Right? Let me see if I had this pulled up. Here's a list of the Persian kings in the Bible. Right? Not all of the Persian kings, of course, but you read about Cyrus in the Bible in Isaiah 45. You read about him in Isaiah 44 chapter, 2 Chronicles 36, many precepts. You read about Cyrus, Cambyses, Pseudo-Smyrdes, Darius the Great, Xerxes, Artaxerxes. These are different Persian kings. So Darius ruled from 521, some scholars would say 522, to 486 BC, right? That's when he ruled. Let's get this in Daniel. Let's go to Daniel 11. So we have to put Zechariah into perspective. One thing about reading the Bible is you want to make sure you know who's speaking, who are they speaking to, what time period is this taking place in, who's in power, and what are the conditions of the Israelites at this time. You want to formulate that understanding with anything that you read. Lest you read this book like a novel and you don't know the context of what's going on. Right? The Most High said, be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. This is Daniel chapter 11 and 1. Also, I in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. So Daniel was still a prophet and held a political position in the government of the Persian Empire during this time. Verse 2, and now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than they all. And by his strength, through his riches, he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. So the 3 kings in Persia are what I just showed on the screen. Cyrus the Great, Cambyses, Pseudo-Smyrdes. You understand? And then the 4th that's richer than them all is none other than Xerxes. Let's pull it back up. It's like a Cambyses the Great. That's where you want to start your first king at. I mentioned Cyrus, but it's really Cambyses, Pseudo-Smyrdes, Darius, and Xerxes. Xerxes is the 4th king that's richer than them all. All right. And Darius is mentioned as one of those kings. Now, during the time of Zechariah, Darius played a major role when it came to how the temple was going to be built and if the building of the temple could continue at that time. Right? He played a major role. So if you want to understand what's going on in Zechariah, the 1st chapter, you have to understand what was going on at this time concerning Darius and concerning the Jews and what was happening. Right? Let's go to the book of Haggai, chapter 1. Right? Haggai 1. Right? You want to understand what was going on at this time. Remember, Haggai and Zechariah were contemporary prophets, meaning they were there at the same time. And the Most High sent them out there to exhort and to encourage the Jews to continue building. Now, this is Haggai. I'm going to read chapter 1 and 1. In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, and the 1st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedech, the high priest, saying, thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, this people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. So during the time of Darius, you had a spirit of slothfulness and fear. A spirit of slothfulness, fear, cowardice, reluctantness to build the house of the Lord. Why? Because men that were around at this time were writing letters to the kings to try to get them to stop building the temple. Right? They were writing letters to Darius, writing letters to these different kings so they could say, look, hey, the Jews are building, but they should not be building. Right? You read about that in the book of Ezra. You read about that in the book of Nehemiah. So it put a spirit on Israel at this time. Or they were low during the reign of Darius. Haggai 1:3. Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Now therefore, thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. So Haggai was sent out there to remind them to build. Examine your spirit. Get out of the spirit of complacency. Repent from that spirit of being comfortable in your house when the house of the Lord lies waste. This is the conditions of the Jews during the reign, for a great part of the reign of Darius. All right, let's go to Haggai, the 2nd chapter, just to get that understanding of what was going on at this time. This is Haggai chapter 2 and 10. And the 24th day of the 9th month, and the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying. So again, Haggai was prophesying on the 24th, it's like the 24th day of the 9th month, still encouraging, still prophesying, still trying to exhort the Israelites to be righteous, build, and do the work. That was the condition of the people at this time, right? The heathen were in wealth. The heathen lived good. The heathen were comfortable. And our people came back to a city out of exile that was in rubble, and it was destroyed. The walls were destroyed. The temple needed to get built. The gates were burnt down. So everybody else was living good, and our people were living horribly, right? They were living horribly. Now, let me see if I can pull this up. That was during the time of the Persian Empire. So I typed in tolerance and the wealth of the Persian Empire, because Darius, again, was the king of the Persians. The ancient Persian Empire, the Achaemenid Empire, built its success on a smart mix of religious tolerance and massive wealth. By respecting local cultures, taxing them fairly, and building great roads, kings like Cyrus the Great created a super rich empire that spanned 3 continents. See, and our people, man, we weren't part of that, man. We were being threatened by heathens, man. You brothers that never read Ezra and Nehemiah, 1st Ezra, go back and read those chapters, those books, rather, and see all of the plots and the plans against our fathers during that time. And the heathen were flowing in wealth. And our people were poor, trying to build with their life on the line. Right? Let's get that in the Apocrypha, 2nd Ezra. We want to show the conditions of our people. And once you understand the conditions of our people at that time, you begin to see exactly why the Most High sent Zechariah that particular prophecy and that particular vision. But you have to know the context of what was going on at that time. Right? I want to go to 2nd Ezra chapter 3, and I want 28. I'll read 28. I'm going to start at 27. 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and 27. And so thou gavest the city over into the hands of thine enemies. Are their deeds better than any that inhabit Babylon, that they should therefore have the dominion over Zion? So the Persians had dominion over us at that time. For when I came thither and had seen impieties without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in the 30th year, so that my heart failed me. So when he was in captivity, Ezra saw many sins, right, that they were doing. He saw so much wickedness of the Persians and so much evil of those Medes and Babylonians that he damn near fainted. And this is how it is in America, man. How much sin do you see on a day-to-day basis? How many damn sodomites was at the harbor today, man? Freaks, transformers, bug outs, weed smokers, rebels, the ungodly, evil children, corrupt men. We see sin that if you actually count it, you wouldn't be able to document all of the evil you see. And that stuff damn make you stress out. Right? And Ezra was experiencing that. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 3. And I'm going to jump down to verse number 33. And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor hath no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth and think not upon thy commandments. So while we're in captivity, trying to build the temple, trying to build the walls, trying to come up with the strength to get out of that depression and that fear of losing our life for building and complacency, the heathen were flowing in wealth, not thinking about the commandments, and they were at ease. They were living good, right? That's why I had this to prove that, right? It says, Cyrus the Great created a super rich empire that spanned 3 continents. Now, I also looked this up. Did the Persians live in peace? It says ancient Persian citizens living in the empire's core enjoyed great wealth, just like America. Religious tolerance, meaning you could be whatever you want to be, right? You didn't have to bow down to Cyrus. You didn't have to bow down to the Persian gods. You could do what thou wilt at the Persian, during the Persian Empire, right? And peace. The empire built a safe, massive road system and used standardized gold coins. This made trade easy and profitable, right? Just like America, good with road systems, transportation. However, conquered subjects paid heavy taxes and peasants worked very hard. So these heathen men, they were living good. They were living good, and we was living horribly, right? Even after coming back to build. Let's go to Ezra, the 6th chapter, right? This is Ezra chapter 6, and this one the decree was given for us to build, and I want to get straight to the point. Ezra 6 and 7. Let the work of this house of God alone. Let the governor of the Jews and the elders of the Jews build this house of God in his place. So eventually, the Lord put the spirit on Darius to commission the building, right? But prior to that, all hell was breaking loose. And men like Tobias, men like Sanballat, they were writing letters to get the temple to stop it from being built, right? So the Jews could just wallow in their depression, wallow in their sins, and wallow in a state of confusion and complacency, right? Let's go to Ezra, the 5th chapter, right? Let's prove that real quick. And all this was going on during the time of Zechariah, right? All this was going on during the days of Zechariah. This is, let's get this, Ezra chapter 5 and verse number 6. The copy of the letter that Tatnai, governor on this side river, and Shethar-bozenai and his companions, and Aphrasachthes, which were on this side river, sent unto Darius the king. They sent a letter unto him, wherein was written thus: unto Darius the king, all peace. Be it known unto the king that we went into the province of Judea to the house of the great God, which is builded with great stones, and timber is laid in the walls, and this work goeth fast and prospereth in their hands. Then asked we those elders and said unto them thus: who commanded you to build this house and to make up these walls? So they was pressing us out, man. Y'all can't build. Who the hell y'all think y'all are? shut this work down, we ask their names also to certify thee, that we might write the names of the men that were chief of them. So you see, they were writing letters to get the temple from being built. We were in a state of complacency, a state of fear, a state of being low, and the heathen were living good and they were flowing in wealth. Right? Let's go back to Zechariah, the first chapter. Right? So they were doing all types of mischief to stop us from building. Let's go back to this, Zechariah chapter 1 and 7. Upon the 24th day of the 11th month, which is the month Sabat, and the second year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo the prophet, saying, I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse. And he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him were their red horses, speckled and white. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will show thee what these be. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth. So this is a vision that he saw right here. Right? Now, everything matters. The conditions of the people matter at that time. That's why I wanted to give that background. And every detail in his vision matters. He saw by night because night represents darkness. Right? Night represents confusion. Night represents evil. Right? Night represents sin. Right? That's why he was able to see this vision, but it was by night. All right? Because this was a situation for the Jews where we didn't have any light. We didn't have any hope. We didn't have any faith in the Most High. We weren't building. We were being threatened and we were complacent. Right? Let's go to, so the conditions of the people match the vision that Zechariah saw. Let's go to Micah chapter 3. Let's get a quick precept on night. All right? Micah chapter 3 and verse number 6. Therefore, night shall be unto you, that ye shall not have a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine, and the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. So the spirit of night represents not having any vision, any hope, any understanding. Your prophets don't have the answers. We didn't have a king at this time. None of our leaders had the answers. So the vision takes place at night because it matches the spirit of our people at that time, right? The spirit of our people at that time. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 13th chapter, right? This is Jeremiah chapter 13 and verse number 16. Give glory to the Lord your God before he cause darkness, and before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains. And while ye look for light, he turn it to the shadow of death and make it gross darkness. And the Lord did that to our people, man. He put us in a situation where we were going through darkness. That's why Haggai was sent out there to say, get the hell up, man. Get out of your sealed houses. Shake that demon off of you, man, and build and build and build. But in darkness, you can't see. You don't have any vision. You're stumbling in different states of confusion, falling into ditches, falling into stumbling stones, or tripping amongst the stones. And the Most High, again, he put that spirit on our people. That is why this vision was taking place at night. Not under a rainbow of joy or not in the sunshine of love. It was by night. Because it was a state of confusion. And he saw a man, let me go back to this, in Zechariah 1 and 8. I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse. And he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom. And behind him, there were red horses, speckled and white. So let's go into this part. I had a visual. See if this is the visual I want. Let's see, hold on. All right, here's the visual. right? That Zacharias saw, right? As close as I could get through the spirit. That's what Zacharias saw. He saw amongst the myrtle trees that were at the bottom, and he saw a man riding upon a red horse, and behind him were red horses, speckled horses, and white horses. That's what he saw, right? That's exactly what he saw. It was a vision. Now, what he actually saw represented a patrol force, if you will. Now, the Most High has an infinite amount of spirits in the third heaven, and every spirit is assigned a particular responsibility. One of the titles of the Most High is the Lord of Hosts, and the host meaning an army. And within an army, part of your army deals with recon, right? Recon. So what Zacharias saw is he saw that portion of the Most High's army, the recon of Yahweh's army that was sent to see what's going on in the earth. That's why we read Amos 9:8. The eyes of the Lord are upon a sinful kingdom. Because there are certain angels that perform strictly recon and led by higher ranking angels. Now let me get that definition, recon. Or, reconnaissance. Recon is short for reconnaissance. It refers to the preliminary exploration of an area or the gathering of information to assess an environment, usually to identify potential risk or opportunities. For the military, this is what we want. The act of scouting or surveying enemy territory to gather tactical data about terrain and troop movements. So the Lord has part of his military, the angels. They are sent there to survey, to patrol, to see what is going on in the earth. What nation is at war? What are the conditions of the Israelites? What nation is in peace? That's their job, right? See if I can get a better definition. Okay, in the military, recon, short for reconnaissance, is the act of exploring an area to gain vital intelligence about enemy forces, terrain, or civil conditions. As we go into Zechariah, the first chapter, this is what these spirits were doing. They were sent to the earth to gather vital intelligence about enemy forces and civil conditions, meaning how the people fared. Were they depressed? Were they poor? Were they wealthy? Was there war? Was there peace? The goal is to obtain first-hand information, such as troop movements, geographic obstacles, or potential threats, to help commanders make informed tactical decisions. Now, check this out. There's a little bit more in this. We're going to prove that's what is going on and why they were sent to gather recon or to do a recon mission. How it works. Recon relies heavily on stealth, concealment, and mobility rather than brute firepower, right? Because the angels operate in stealth mode. They're invisible. They conceal their identity. They don't come out and destroy all the time. They don't come out and cause tornadoes every time. They don't come out and put the spirit on people to drop bombs. You got spirits for that. You read about that in Sirach 39:26. There'll be spirits created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. But not every angel does that. There are certain spirits that rely on stealth, concealment, and mobility. And they go that route rather than brute force and firepower. So let's pull this visual back up. All right, let me close that out. I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him were red horses, speckled and white. Let's go to Hosea chapter 12 and 10. What is that talking about? What does that mean? And what does it have to do with what's going on in the earth? What does it have to do with brothers being thrown in lakes and murdered? Brothers being lynched? Us being killed and then not being reported? Our organs coming up missing? Us being kidnapped and trafficked around the world? What does that have to do? Well, we'll touch on that. Hosea chapter 12 and 10. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. So what Zechariah did is he described the angelic forces as horses. That's a similitude. So there are similarities between an actual horse and an angel. And a similarity is that they both represent power. They both represent power, and they're both used in war. Right? Let's get that. Let's go to Job. Let's go to Job. So it's not talking about actual horses, but yes, that's what Zechariah saw. Don't get me wrong. He actually saw a man on a red horse, and behind him were speckled horses in white, but it's a similitude because there are similarities between the angelic forces in the Most High's army and actual horses. So often throughout the Bible, you'll find that angels are being described as horses. Okay? This is Job chapter 39 and verse number 19. It reads, "Hast thou given the horse strength? Hast thou clothed his neck with thunder?" So the horse is a spirit that represents strength. Every animal has a spirit. Dogs are known for being faithful and loyal. The Most High gave them that spirit. There's nothing that anybody can do to stop that. Dogs are faithful. They're loyal. That's the way the Most High made them. Right? Cats are omnious, lone creatures, wolves. They operate in packs. Every animal got a different spirit. So the horse was created to bring about power on the earth. Verse number 20. "Canst thou make him afraid as a grasshopper? The glory of his nostrils is terrible." So the horse don't fear nothing. He paweth in the valley and rejoiceth in his strength. He goeth on to meet the armed men. So he fights in battles just like angels. Angels have weapons of war. They're going to fight armed men. When they fight Esau, his military, he mocketh that fear and is not affrighted, neither turneth he back from the sword. So what's the similarity between the horses and the angels? The fact that they are both used in military, and also the fact that they both represent strength and power. So yes, Zechariah indeed did see this. He saw a man on a red horse, and behind him were red horses speckled in white. But what he really saw was a league of angels that were part of a military operation to go in stealth in a recon fashion to scope out what was going on the earth. And they had their commander. Now, another part of the similitude is the color of these horses. Red, speckled, and white, right? That's another part of the similitude, the actual color scheme of the horses through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Now, what does red represent? Why is the man on the red horse? Well, being on a horse meaning that you're in authority, you're in power, right? So this angel is a angel of authority, a commander. Like every military, you have generals, you have captains, you have archangels in the spiritual world. So this man on the red horse is actually a chief angel. Let's get Ecclesiastes 10. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse number 7. "I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth." So why are servants upon horses? Because now servants have power. Men that were your slaves, men that were beneath you, now they have power. We as the princes of power, now we're the slaves on the earth. You see that? Does it not say in Deuteronomy 28:43 on down, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high on that horse, and thou shalt come down very low. Right? So this spirit right here is leading the other spirits. Right? Now, he's upon a red horse because red represents war and vengeance. Right? War and vengeance. That's what red represents. Right? War and vengeance. Let's go to Revelation, the 6th chapter. This is Revelation chapter 6 and 3 and 4. We'll explain exactly why the angels are on a horse that represents war and vengeance. Right? This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse number 3. And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. So here you have this man, same spirit, man on a red horse. The job of the man on the red horse is to take away peace from the earth, to take away that spirit of ease, take away that spirit of comfortability in the heathen, take away that spirit of mirth and love and joy amongst the so-called white man and these other nations. That's his job. And he actually puts the spirit, this angel has been given authority by God to put the spirit on Edomites to kill one another and other nations. So he has that great sword. So when you look at the man upon a red horse, his job is to take away peace from the earth. During this time, the heathen are at peace. The heathen are in wealth. The heathen are in a state of prosperity. So he has been commissioned to take away that peace in due season, right? He's going to take away that peace, and he has other spirits that are going to work with him. Other red horses, other spirits of like mind who have the same operation to take away peace from the earth. All right. Now, when you're in the military, there's a thing called what is that called? It's called an order of operation. Let's see if I can find that order of, not math, man. Military, I believe that's what it's called. See that? A military operations order, that's what it's called. This is what the angels got. Is a directive issued by a commander to subordinate units to coordinate and execute a mission. So the angels with the red horse and the horses behind him are spirits that have a military operations order from God himself to coordinate and execute a mission. Their job is to take away peace away from the heathen that are oppressing the Israelites at that time. That's their job. And we'll read that in the chapter. And their job also in these last days, as we read in Revelation, the 6th chapter, their job takes away peace from the earth. All right. So the OPORD, which is a military operations order, process guarantees that every leader knows exactly what needs to be done, how to do it, and what defines success. So the angels receive these orders, man. They know exactly what to do, how to do it, and how to achieve success. Even the spirits in the third heaven, they receive these operational orders from the Lord of hosts, from Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. So that's the job of the red horses. Then you have the speckled horses, and you have the white horses. White, let's touch on that. White is a spirit that represents tranquility and peace and purity. So while you bring war and destruction and take away peace from the heathen, you bring about purity and peace to the Israelites. The job of the white horses or these angels, they're their own group. They have been commissioned by God to bring purity and peace to the children of Israel. That's their job. Let's get that white. White represents purity and righteousness. Let's get Revelation 19 chapter. So all these angels, they operate in the spiritual realm, but they operate on different levels, right? They operate on different levels. This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse number 7. Let's read that, right? Let's read that. Revelation chapter 19, and I want to read verse number 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. So white represents righteousness, tranquility, and purity, right? Another word for tranquility is peace. They bring peace, purity, and righteousness. That's the job of the white horse. That's what white represents in the Bible. This is Revelation chapter 3 and verse number 4. Right? Revelation chapter 3 and 4. Thou hast a few names in Sardis, which have not defiled their garments, and they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy. Right? So you had Israelites that kept their spirits pure, and the Most High is going to bring them the kingdom and give them the glory. They're going to walk in white, meaning they're going to receive salvation. They're going to receive peace. They're going to receive honor. So you're going to have spirits that are also created to bring joy and peace to the children of Israel. Remember, this vision is based off of the circumstances of the Jews at this time. That's why you have to know the background. At this time, the Israelites were oppressed by the heathen. They were not building. They were being threatened. They had to fight for their life. They didn't have an actual city built. The temple was not completed. They were vulnerable. The walls were broken down. And the Most High sent the Spirit on Zechariah to have this vision that he can give the Israelites to comfort them, to let them know that the Most High is still with you. Right? And he's going to take away that peace from the heathen. He's going to take away that joy from them. He's going to take away that spirit of mirth and love and unity from the heathen. But at the same time, he's going to comfort the saints as well by means of the white horses. Now, you also have the speckled horses. The speckled horses represent angels that have multiple responsibilities and multiple tasks. So they can do anything, right? These spirits can work on the mind of a heathen king. These spirits can bring destruction. These spirits can bring about salvation. These spirits can do whatever. That's why they're speckled, because they don't have a set task. The coat color, like we've been into in time past, defines the role of the horse, which is the responsibility of the angel. I'll say that again. The coat color of the horse in biblical prophecy defines the role of the angel. And again, like we went into before, that word is called hippology. And we've touched on that. Hippology is the study of horses' coat colors that shows what traits that they have and what task that they should be equipped to do. Okay, let's get that. Right? Hippology. Hippology is the study of horses, right? So you study their coat colors, you look at their genetics, and you see exactly what they should do. And is this horse for war? Is this horse for a circus? Is this a breeding animal? Is this animal docile? Does this coat color mean that this horse can pull a weight, pull a carriage, right? And men that study horses, they look at that, man. They study that to a T. It's called hippology. right? When you look at small ponies, man, you gotta look at them and know, exactly what that does, man. When you look at a Clydesdale, you have to look at that horse and say, okay, well, that horse is used for this. Let's see if we can actually look that up. What do horses' coat color mean? We'll just see what they say. We know what it means, but we'll just see. A horse's coat color means how its hair and skin look. These colors come from genes, right? Which means exactly your genes show you what you can and can't do. All right. All horse colors start from three main options: chestnut, black, and bay. Right? So they have different genes that kind of show exactly what they can and can't do. Right? Look at this. And they actually break it down. I'm not going to go too deep into it. They tell you the color, tells you how much food they need. Does it have parasites? What it's good for. See, if you have a specific horse breed in mind or want to know what the genes mean for a certain color, let me know. But that's exactly what it's going into. And our fathers, they dealt with horses. Solomon dealt with horses, man. And our fathers knew exactly what each coat color meant. So this is why Yahweh Ba'Shemel Shai likens that to the angels. One is red, one is speckled, one is white, because these coat colors and biblical typology dictate the role of the angel and what their purpose is in the land of the living. Now, you read about this in Zechariah, the 1st chapter. You also read about this in Zechariah, the 6th chapter. You read about this in Revelation, the 6th chapter. You read about these different spirits, and there's other places in the Bible, 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, 1st Maccabee or 2nd Maccabees, the 5th chapter. But that's a common understanding in the Bible, that horses are likened unto angels. And again, their coat color determines what that responsibility of the angel is. So colors mean stuff. Even the so-called white man knows colors mean things, man. That's why he all his fast food spots are red. Most of them, about 98% of them, they all have red on it, because red is a color that means something. Red represents those warm colors. They represent they stir up your mind for hunger. You can look that up. There's a spirit behind colors. McDonald's, Burger King, Checkers, Wendy's. Why do they all have red on it? Because red stirs up a spirit in you. It kind of riles you up to want to eat. Let me pull that up. Does red stir your appetite? Let me see if they got that. See that? Yes, the color red is famous for making people hungry. So it put a spirit on you, man. Your brain connects red with excitement. Seeing it can slightly raise your heart rate and blood pressure, which speeds up your metabolism and makes you crave food. Fast food chains like McDonald's, Coca-Cola use red. It's like use red and their logos on purpose. It grabs your attention fast. It makes you think about grabbing a quick bite. So there's there's a spirit behind colors, right? And they know that, man. They study the mind. They study the spirit. They open up the Bible. They see how the Most High deals with black. He deals with white. He deals with green. He deals with all these colors. And, he tries to attribute that on the left-hand side with all these food additives and fast food and get you addicted to destruction. Now, on the right-hand side, remember, let's pull up a picture of the tabernacle. All right, let's talk about it on the biblical side. So for the tabernacle, It had colors, right? Blue, purple, scarlet. They say white. Now there's a spirit behind those colors, man. Right? The Most High didn't accidentally pick those colors. See, it's a just balance with those colors because red brings about excitement, red brings about energy. So the priest, they needed that. They needed to have that working on a spirit. And blue is the opposite. Blue's a color that represents calmness and relaxation. So it's a just balance. The scarlet and the blue is a just balance for the priest because they couldn't be too excited, couldn't be all red. You have to have that balance with the blue so they could also focus. And purple is right in between, right? Purple is right in between the mix of the red and blue. So it's the spirit behind those colors. Oh, how about Shmi Awashai? Right? Let me pull that up. What does blue do to the brain? Right? See this? It boosts creativity and focus. So the priests, they needed that. They had to have the frankincense to work on their mind because frankincense also helps you focus. It's not just a smell good thing. When you light frankincense, when you go into it, helps your mind lock in and focus. So the Most High had the frankincense so the priest could focus and lock in as well, man. Then he had the color scheme to also help you out do that work. So cool colors like blue require less visual processing. Slakia, where was I at? Bear with me. Then warmer colors. This visual softness gives your brain a break, allowing you to focus better on analytical tasks and stimulating broader, more initiative thinking. So it's a spirit with the blue, man. Right? You look on your fringes, man. Your fringes, what's the purpose of the fringes? You look upon them that you may remember all the commandments of the Lord. You focus, you lock in. It stimulates your spirit. Yes, it's a royal color. Okay, we get that. Okay, yes, we know it was hard to make blue. To dye was a difficult process that only certain people had access to, but it's also a spirit behind it. Deep in your subconscious, man, it allows you to focus better, and now you're remembering the commandments of the Lord. You know, so you can't take in vain why the Most High has these colors attributed to these different angels and to these different spirits. Now, again, one more thing about this I want to touch on in Zechariah 1 is that this is slightly different than Zechariah 6. Because Zechariah 6, let's touch on that real quick. I'm not going to go through that whole chapter. But Zechariah 6 represents spirits that are sent out really to execute judgment. Where Zechariah 1 are spirits that are sent out for recon. So these are two different missions. Okay? This is Zechariah chapter 1. It's like chapter 6 and 1. Oh, you know what? I want to touch on purple real quick, Salakia. Because purple, what does purple, right? Purple do to the brain? Salakia, I want to touch on that too because purple is also there. Now check this out. By combining the calming nature of blue and the stimulating energy of red, which the priests needed. They needed that red to stimulate them, but they needed that blue to focus. Purple is thought to balance brain activity, promoting introspection and sparking imagination. Right? It's utilized in problem solving. It has a calming effect and eases anxiety. Now, even when you go into it a little bit further, they say purple is a spiritual color. Right? Let me see if I can type that in spiritual. See, now they doing a lot, but It unites opposites. It calms physical stress while boosting spiritual imagination. So there's a spirit behind the colors. It's a spirit behind the stones that the priest had. And, but a lot of that understanding we truly don't have. The Most High has that. We'll get that in the kingdom. But just know that there's a reason for everything. And the Most High don't do nothing by accident. Especially when it comes to magnifying his name. There's no accident with brother. That's just a coincidence that it was emerald and amethyst. And it could have been any stone. No, it couldn't have been any damn stone. Whether the horses could have been any color. No. Stop thinking like an Edomite. We're a spiritual people. Right? The Lord said, let me get this in before I go to Zechariah 6. Oh, brother, I mean, what does it matter that the red horses? Right? See, that's the problem with our people, man. We lack spiritual understanding. Right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and 10. But the Most High hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit. For the Spirit searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of God. So there are certain things in prophecy, parables, metaphors that Yahweh by Shmi Awashah reveals unto us by the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit searches out the understanding and the deep things of the Most High. So we have to always have a spiritual mind when we read. You have to have a spiritual mind when you read. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse number 13. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but that which the Holy Spirit teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. And that's what we're doing. We're comparing spiritual colors to the spiritual horses, to the spiritual breakdown, to what's going on in the heavens. That's what we're doing. We're comparing spiritual things with spiritual. Verse 14, 1 Corinthians 2 and 14. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. So the natural man, he's going to say, well, what does that have to do with anything, brother? Well, brother, they're just horses. It could have been an elephant. It could have been a cheetah. The Most High could have had a man on a... No, brother. Don't be a natural carnal man. Be a spiritual man. Let's go back to this. Zechariah 6 and 1. Again, the difference between Zechariah 6 and Zechariah 1 is that the spirit of the angels and Zechariah 1 are sent for recon and for reporting. The spirit of the angels in Zechariah 6 are sent out for action and for judgment. And when you read it, they're in a different spirit. Right? It's two different spirits when you read Zechariah 6 and Zechariah 1. Okay? This is Zechariah chapter 6 and 1. And I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came 4 chariots out from between 2 mountains, and the mountains were mountains of brass. So they came out from the heavens, right? The force and the mountains represent strength and immovable power, right? That's why you even have Yahweh Shah said if you have a mountain, you can pray to the Most High that mountain could be cast into the sea. And that mountain will be cast into the sea. So these mountains represent the power and strength of Yahweh Bashmi Yahweh Shah. Now, the chariots coming out between the mountains represent spirits that are coming out for judgment. Let's pull this up. See if we can get a visual on this. Chariots. Okay. All right, you see that? So this is what Zechariah actually saw. Yes, it's a similitude. Here's what he physically saw. 4 chariots coming out between 2 mountains. And the mountains were mountains of brass. And anytime if you're on the opposite side of this, you might get put to death. There's judgment coming. If I was on the opposite side of this and I saw this coming my way, and that might be the last thing I see. And they move fast, and chariots are for war. A chariot is a war vehicle. So understand the dynamic between Zechariah 6 Zechariah 6 is displaying the judgments of God by angels who have different tasks. Whereas Zechariah 1 is explaining a report that angels did for what they saw on the earth. Let's go back to Zechariah 1. Okay. Let's go back to Zechariah 1 through the Spirit. So this is Zechariah chapter 1 and verse 8. Let's read that again. We're spending a lot of time on this chapter because it's a lot of meat on this verse, right? It's a lot of meat on the bones, right? And when I was growing up, you had to eat all the meat off the bone, huh? And you got a whooping, you got beat, man. Something happened. You left all that meat on the bone. You got mocked. So we're not going to leave no meat on the bone, man. Right? This is Zechariah 1 and 8. I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse. We broke that down. And he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom. And behind him, there were red horses, speckled and white. Now, the myrtle tree is also significant. He stood among the myrtle trees. He didn't stand amongst the cedar trees. He didn't stand amongst the palm tree. Trees also have spirits behind them, just like the colors, just like the horses. The myrtle tree is a tree that's a low tree, right? It's a tree. It's beautiful. It's glorious, but it's low, right? It's a low and it's short. Here's the myrtle tree. The myrtle tree represents the children of Israel at this time. I'm going to say that again. The myrtle tree represents the Israelites at this time. Low, not exalted. Jerusalem is destroyed. The temple is not built. The walls are burnt down. The gates are burnt with fire. But the myrtle tree is still beautiful. It's still glorious. So the Most High was working with us. The Most High was still with us in the spirit, man. Right? We were delivered out of the Babylonian captivity. We were in exile. We had leaders. We were there, but we were low at this time due to all of the plotting and the scheming that the heathen were doing at this time. And it's a lot of spirits behind the myrtle tree. Right? Even the so-called science behind it. I believe myrtle trees are, let me pull this up, traits of a myrtle tree. Let's see, interesting facts of the myrtle tree. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Okay, it says, and I remember reading this the other night. The leaves of the myrtle tree contain tiny oil glands. And if you got a spiritual mind, right, you kind of understand. The leaf contains oil of the myrtle tree. What does the oil represent? The spirit. What does the leaf represent? The understanding. Not every tree contains oil. The myrtle tree does, though. Okay, it contains tiny oil glands. When you crush the leaves, they release a sweet, spicy scent. All right. Tough wood. The myrtle tree is technically a large evergreen bush or small tree that grows up to 16.5 feet tall. It is very drought tolerant and can survive in tough soils. So that's the Israelites, man. Right? We were catching hell, but we were surviving. Being crushed, but we were still doing that thing. We still had oil. Still had the understanding. We still had Zerubbabel. We still had Haggai. We had Zechariah. We had Joshua the high priest. We had men willing and able that left Babylon to come back to build. Men are likened unto trees. Surely we know that, right? Let's get the classic. Mark 8 and 24. Mark chapter 8 and verse 24. And he looked up and said, I see men as trees walking. So it's very significant that Zechariah saw the angel amongst the myrtle trees, right? Because that was our people. It represents our people in a lower state. Now, there's another tree that represents our people in a lower state. That's also the willow tree. So the willow tree, or they call it the weeping willow, is a tree of mourning as well. So the trees have spirits, man. The cedar tree is a strength, it's like a tree of strength, a tree of power. The palm tree is also an upright tree of wisdom, upright in equity and knowledge. But then you have trees like the willow tree, trees like the myrtle tree. Those are lowly trees. And our people represent these trees throughout different parts of our existence through various captivities. Psalm chapter 137 and 1. It reads, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. So we were in a state of depression, sadness, because we were taken captive by the Babylonians. And we hung our harp upon the willows. Here's a willow. I think I had that one as well. Right? Let's see. Here's the willow tree. See, and it looks sad, man. Looks like tears falling and somebody hanging their head down low, and nobody's strong. Nobody is confident. So when we were taken into slavery, we became the willow tree. After exile, we became the myrtle tree. When you're in this truth, you become the palm tree. When you get real strong in the kingdom, you become the cedar tree. You elevate in stature and you elevate in height. You start off as the mustard seed and then become the mustard tree. Yahweh Shai speaks of these things, man. Right? Wisdom is likened unto the palm tree. Let's go to let's do Psalms 92. We'll get that one. There's a lot of precepts I'm thinking of. Right? So this is Psalms chapter 92 and verse 12. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh, Ba'ashmi Abushai, shall flourish in the courts of our God. So you want to flourish. When you become righteous and you repent, you forsake your sins, you keep the commandments, you build up yourself in faith, you love your brethren, you're sincere, you have a clean heart, clean hands, you begin to flourish like the palm tree. Were our people like the palm tree at this time? No. Right? During this time, we were in exile, destitute of hope. Okay? Let's go back to it. Zechariah chapter 1 and verse number 8. I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse. And he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, like in a low valley, a low land, right? Because our people were in a lower state. And behind him, there were red horses, speckled and white. Zechariah 1 and 9. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will show thee what these be. So he said, what are these spirits? What are these angels? What are these horses? What am I looking at? Well, we broke it down. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, these are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth, meaning these are the angels. These are the watchers, right? Let me get that in Daniel 4. These are called the watchers, right? This is Daniel chapter 4 and verse number 17. I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher and the Holy One came down from heaven. So Nebuchadnezzar had this dream and he saw a watcher come down. What is a watcher? Let's go to this word, right? Every angel that's created is not created to be a watcher. Certain angels are created to just praise the Most High 24/7. The seraphim, they say, holy, holy, holy. The whole earth is filled with your glory. You got the 420 elders who cast their crowns and bow down before the Most High. You got certain angels, their job is solely to protect you. Pursuant to Psalms 34:7. The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear him and delivereth them. Then you have other angels, like for recon, to look at man and what man is doing. Those are watchers, right? So let's go to that word through the Spirit, right? A watcher. It says, waking, watchful, a wakeful one, a watcher, an angel. A watcher, an angel, right? So it's an angel that literally does what? It watches you, right? That's why they're called the eyes of the Lord. Okay? The eyes of the Lord. Let's go back to Daniel. Right? Let's go to Daniel chapter 4 and 17. What else do the watchers do? And the watchers, man, one thing about the watchers is they can see through walls. They can see through your flesh. They can see what's in your mind, right? They can see what you're going to do before you do it. They know what you're going to say before you say it. And they scribe out everything that they watch. They're very observant. Nothing gets past them. They're watching you right now. You got brothers looking around. You can't see them. One of the things about the watchers is they operate in stealth mode. They do recon. Now, this is Daniel 4 and 17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, meaning the other angels, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men. So Nebuchadnezzar received this judgment and this decree by the watchers, right? This matter is by the decree of the watchers. So the watchers have decrees. What is a decree? It's really a judgment. All right, let's get the definition of a decree. A decree is a formal, authoritative order issued by a person or entity in power, or an official decision made by a court of law. So it's a judgment. It carries the weight of a legal command. In a legal context, here's what we want, right? In a legal context, it is a binding judgment handed down by a judge. So when you go back to Daniel 4, where it says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers receive the judgment of God to give unto man, to give it to Nebuchadnezzar, to give it to these heathens. In government, it is an executive directive issued by a leader that has force of law. Okay? That it's like it has force of the law. So the watchers, they observe what you do, they document it, they bring it up to the Most High. Then the Most High tells those angels, those watchers, what to do with that information. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 5. Actually, I want Ecclesiastes 10. Salakia. That's what I want. Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 20. Curse not the king, no, not in thy thought, and curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter. So watch your thoughts, man. How you think about your brother. How you think about the Most High. What you think about Yahushua. Don't say nothing evil in your mind. Even if you're in your bed chamber, a lot of brothers pillow talk with their women, man. And you talking about brothers, spiritual situation, their financial situation. You pillow talking, and you railing brothers, and you backbiting and being evil. Don't do that, man. Why? The Lord said, for a bird of the air shall carry the voice. Does that mean a falcon is recording your voice or an eagle? No, it's talking about the angels. They're watching you. And they're recording everything you say. And they're going to tell on you. Straight up. They're going to tell on you. Their job is to tell on you, man. And they're going to tell the Most High. They ain't going to tell me. They ain't going to tell you. We can't do nothing about it. We're working out our own salvation. They're going to tell somebody who's going to do something about it. The Most High. And they're going to say everything, all that pillow talking, all that slander, all that gossip, all them evil thoughts, all that resentment and hatred, and the watchers, they're going to bring that up, man. Go ask Nebuchadnezzar what happened to him. The watchers were there. When he came out and he said, I built this by the might of my majesty. I've done this, I've done that. The watchers heard that, man. They saw that. Hey, and you know what happened to him after that, man? You know what happened to Nebuchadnezzar after that? So, let's read this again. Zechariah chapter 1 and 10. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, these are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth. And they answered the angel of Yahweh that stood among the myrtle trees and said, we have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. So they reported their mission. Right? They reported their mission. They were taking, here's another visual, taking recon on the earth, right? And they were looking at the conditions of the people, how the heathen were ruling. This is the best visual I could come up with. I know it's not perfect, so Salaki, but I'm trying to get brothers to understand exactly what was going on. The angels were there watching what was going on. And what they brought back to the Most High was, behold, the earth sitteth, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. Meaning that the nations are at peace. There's no war. There's no conflict. There's no major uprising. There's no tumult. The Israelites are in bondage. The city's not built. The temple is not built. The people are cast down. And everybody is smooth. Everybody chilling. See, the Most High can switch that, though. Right? The Most High can switch that. Whole earth is at rest. He could turn up, man. When you go to 2 Chronicles, chapter 15, and verse number 5. Check this out. Here's the opposite of the earth sitteth still and is at rest. 2 Chronicles 15 and 5. And at those times, there was no peace to him that went out, nor to him that came in. But great vexations were upon all the inhabitants of the countries. So this is the opposite of Zechariah 1. Zechariah 1 said the earth sitteth still and is at rest. There's peace on the earth. The Israelites are going, they're going through their condition. The heathen flow in wealth. But the Most High could change that. Now I can say there's no peace. Great vexations were on all the inhabitants of the countries. 2 Chronicles 15 and 6. And nation was destroyed of nation, and city of city, for God did vex them with all adversity. So the Lord can easily turn that thing. So the angels in Zechariah 1, they could have reported this. They could have reported that the earth is vexed by your judgment. There's war on the earth, there's destruction on the earth, but that wasn't what was going on for the most part at that time, right? You had other events that were going on, Salakia, at that time through the Spirit. This is Zechariah chapter 1 and 12. And this is going on now. What you're reading about in Zechariah 1 and 11 is happening right now. Right? Our people are in captivity. Now, you still have some conflicts on the earth, regional conflicts, etc., but we still catching hell, man. These nations are eating, chiefly here in America, man. Drinking, living large. And we're not doing too well, man. We're oppressed. And even the angels, they didn't like that, man. They didn't like the conditions of our people compared to the heathen. And you'll read that in the next verse. Zechariah 1 and 12. Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? I mean, when are you going to show mercy? You see what's going on. The angels are telling you these heathen are proud. They're at rest. They're at ease. When are you going to do something about it? They're reported to you right now. Stir yourself up. Judge these heathen. They have no business being still. They have no business being at rest. So you have the angel of the Lord actually pleading on behalf of the Israelites. So what did the Lord tell the angel? Zechariah 1 and 13. And the angel answered, Slakia, and the Lord answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. Well, brother, what does that mean? Well, what are the good words? What are the comfortable words? Well, brother, it doesn't matter what they are. All that matters, it doesn't say. All that matters is that the Lord answered the angel with good words and comfortable words, implying that the Most High was going to do something for the children of Israel. Okay? That was good news. Doesn't matter, you're not going to know everything. I'm going to find out what the good words and comfortable words are. Okay, brother, when you find out, let me know. Right? All that matters is the Most High told the angel a spirit of glad tidings. The spirit of it was the spirit of glad tidings, to let him know that there was judgment that was going to be done for our behalf. And you'll see that as we read on. Zechariah 1 and 14. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus said the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they have helped forward the affliction. So the Lord is mad at that time that the earth was at rest, that the earth sitteth still, that the heathen were at ease, and that our people were catching hell. He's displeased about that. That's why the spirit of the red horse, the spirit of the white horse, the spirit of the speckled horses, all represent spirits of conflict, help, various tasks. It represents all of the forces that the Most High was dealing with at that time, and also what he was going to do. Now, here's another visual. Or we showed the vision, right? Then we showed the angels watching. And here's another one. Right? Here's the angel of the Lord pleading with the Most High, with the other angels, asking the Most High to do something, save us, help us. Right? Here's another one. What they saw on the earth: wickedness and violence, idolatry and pride, the Israelites oppressed, the righteous crying out. They saw all these things when they scope out the earth. And this is going on now. The watchers are watching men go missing, lynchings, murders, freakisms, violence. The Israelites being destroyed, man. Modern day lynchings, modern day killings. Esau getting away with it. Murdering men on the islands, deleting all their text, deleting all their social media, man, and getting away with it scot-free. The Lord is sore displeased with the heathen, man. And you heathen, you forward the affliction, meaning you went too damn far. The Most High saying, even today, the so-called white man, he went too damn far. He was just supposed to put us in slavery. Now you damn stealing organs, man. You're going too far. You're eating people, man. You're turning people into robots, and you're mixing man and machine. You're destroying the earth. You destroyed the water. You breeded the animals. You popping the animals. You snatching the children. You went too damn far. You divided the families up. You had men dealing with their mothers, man. Mothers dealing with their sons. Running experiments on the Israelites. Lewd diseases. You brought strange illnesses on the earth, man. You manipulated the weather. You went too far. That's what Zechariah 1 is saying. Let me go back to that. Zechariah 1 and 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, but they helped forward the affliction. Let's go to Isaiah 47. Right? Isaiah chapter 47 and verse number 6. It reads, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. So the Lord was mad at us and put us into the hands of Esau. And he didn't show no mercy, man. Right? He went too far. Upon the ancient, he put the old men in slavery. He raped old men, popped old women, had them work until they died, till people's bones fell off, and they were dismembered by sheer harsh labor conditions. He went too far. Let's go to Jeremiah 49. Right? This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse number 31. Arise, get you up unto the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care, saith the Lord, which have neither gates nor bars, which dwell alone. And in the spirit, this is going into America on a spiritual level. This is the wealthy nation that dwelleth without care. And we don't dwell without care. We have stress. I'm stressed out. And we get stressed, man. When we cast our burdens to the Lord, but them spirits come on us, man. You're juggling bills and your mortgage or your rent, man. You're juggling finances. You're trying to take care of your health. You don't get enough sleep. Still got to read and study and pray, man. Then you're still in this body, so you might sin and go off. You catch a hell at your job. So we dwell with care. We're not at ease. We're not at ease because the curse says that we wouldn't be at ease. But the wealthy nation, they are at ease. They dwell without care, and the Most High don't like that. He does not like that. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse number 65. It reads, and among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shalt the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind. And we want the sole of our foot to have rest, like the dove that Noah sent out. Or I believe you read that her foot found rest. And she found rest, I believe, in an olive branch, right? This is Genesis chapter 8 and verse number 9. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned unto him into the ark. For the waters were on the face of the whole earth. Then he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her unto him into the ark, because it wasn't time for her to have rest. Right? The Most High has everything on the time. Right? Everything's on a schedule. Everything is very meticulous with the Most High. So as much as the dove wants to find rest, if it's not of God, she's not going to find rest. And that's how we are. We're going to be pulled back into these conditions. Genesis chapter 8 and 10. And he stayed yet other 7 days. And again, he sent forth the dove out of the ark. So the dove had to wait 7 days. And you brothers, man, we've been waiting 7 days, spiritually speaking. You read that in, right? Second Ezra, the 7th chapter. The Most High speaks about the 7 days of silence. Genesis chapter 8 and 11. And the dove came into him in the evening, and lo, in her mouth was an olive leaf plucked off. So Noah knew that the waters were abated from off the earth. So she came back with an olive leaf. And that's spiritual, man. Why we want to find our rest in the olive leaf. We want to find our rest in Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. But these heathen, man, they don't give a damn. Right? They don't give a damn. That's why I showed on this visual, our people oppressed, our people crying out, our people looking at all of the evil that these devils are doing, man, all of the lewdness that they're doing, all of the confusion, and they're watching everything. I actually like this visual, man. They did a good job with this, man. Right? You type them words and they put it together through the Spirit. All praise to the Most High. Right? But this is happening, man. What they saw on the earth. The Most High sees the heathen at ease, and things are going to happen. Right? Things are going to happen. Let's go back to Zechariah, the 1st chapter. So when you look at these things, man, brothers that go missing, they say this brother went missing too, man. He was hanging around a bunch of Edomites. And he's gone. You know? Let me see. Let me go back. I'm not going to read this whole thing. Oh, no. They say a young black man whose body was found in a lake. All right? So this brother, his body was found in a lake, man. You don't get no ease here. You don't get no rest. You had this brother. He rented a truck and drove. I'm going to actually play the audio for this one. He rented a truck and drove with his white friends from Illinois to the festival, and the group returned home without him. Michigan State Police said Jared died by suicide. He was the only black person in the white group. Let me play that audio. Right? You see that, man? So we go through the Spirit and power, but the watchers are watching. They're watching. They're reporting to the Most High what's going on in the earth. All right, there's a sound with this. I don't think it's sound. Right? All right, that's okay. But you can read it. You can read it. Black man's family demands answers after he dies on a trip with white friends. My nephew, Gerard J. Jackson, went missing June 29th and was found dead June 30th. The details surrounding his death are raising suspicions. Here's his story so far. All right. He went to a festival with a group of his friends. He rented an SUV and drove everyone to the festival. I'm gonna tell you something. From the time that before that, they were plotting to kill him. I don't care what they say. Oh, brother, you didn't see the trial. You don't know what happened. I don't have to see the trial. From what I know, from the day that they agreed to go up there, them Edomites, they wanted to kill him. We read it in Genesis, the 27th chapter. I don't need to run them on a polygraph. I don't need to go up there and see if they, do a lie detector test and get evidence. No, that's what God said, man. Look at that Edomite. You know he ain't up to no good. It's all over his face. It's all over this Edomite face. He's not up to no damn good. You can tell. Any Edomite that look like that, look at that. See that face? You saw that face? You saw that? Hold on, let me go back. See that? They say he went missing and was having a mental crisis. I don't believe that. We don't believe that. Right? We don't believe. They said that he never had a mental crisis. He never attempted to harm himself. He kept trying to call the police. The friend said they took his phone and his car from him, car keys. All right, so this is foul play. They killed him, they stole the car keys, and they drove back. At 6:30, his parents were notified he had been found dead. Now listen to this. Check this out. 6:30 to 7 a.m. ish, his parents were notified he had been found dead, and no foul play had been suspected. That's all the details they were told. Around mid-afternoon, the coroner told his parents they had his body and was going to do an autopsy. His stepdad asked, "Well, what happened to my son?" The coroner said, "Police didn't tell you? He was found hanging from a tree in a wooded area." He was found hanging from a tree in a wooded area. That's when we saw it in the news headlines. That's how his family found out what allegedly had happened. See that, man? Right? See that? So you can read the rest on your own, man. But this is what's happening to our people, man. I mean, this stuff has been happening. Don't get me wrong. But the spirit on the earth right now is the Most High really has, the saints. It's like you're speaking about it on a higher level, right? Let's go back to Zechariah 1. That's why this prophecy is so important, because it shows that the Most High's, his providence is real. He's watching what's going on. Even the angels, they care about us. The angel said, let me go back to this. In Zechariah 1 and 12. Then the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? So even the angels, they got our back. Lord, when are you going to do something? When are you going to stir yourself up? Let's go back to this. Zechariah 1 and 15. And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Therefore, thus said the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, said the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. And they're going to build the temple. I'm going to have mercy on them. They're going to build the walls. And the Lord did that, man. He stirred the spirit of Zerubbabel up to continue building by Haggai, who exhorted them. Joshua. He sent Ezra. He sent Nehemiah. He sent these men to have mercy and to build up the church at that time. Zechariah 1 and 17. Cry, yet saying, thus said the Lord of hosts, my cities through prosperity shall yet be spread abroad, and the Lord shall yet comfort Zion and yet choose Jerusalem. So no matter how these heathen are at ease and the earth is still and we're catching hell, the Most High will yet choose Jerusalem. It tells you that in Isaiah the 14th chapter, right? He will yet choose Jerusalem. This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1. So there's hope. There's hope. You may see injustice. You may see crime. You may see things get unreported. But the Lord said, don't necessarily regard that. Right? He tells you that in Ecclesiastes 5. He tells you about that. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 5 and verse number 8. If thou seest the oppression of the poor and violent perverting of judgment and justice in a province, marvel not at the matter, for he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. You see that, man? Because you'll see oppression all throughout TikTok, the news. Some of this stuff can get overwhelming. Facebook, Instagram, it'll be on the feed here. You hear people talking about it. You might physically see it. And you might want to do something about it, but you can't do it. You can't do it. The Lord said there should be no might in thine hand. No man shall save thee. So you'll see the oppression of the poor. You'll see judgment being perverted. You'll see Edomites getting away with murder when all of the evidence is against them, when there are 1,000 witnesses against them. You'll see the violent perverting of judgment and justice in the province. Do you cry every night? Do you stress yourself out? Those emotions might come. You might be mad as hell. You might weep you might have your head down. You might want to damn punch an Edomite in the mouth. You might want to take matters into your own hands. Hey, but you can't do that. The Most High said, marvel not at the matter. Why? For he that is higher than the highest regardeth, and there be higher than they. So there are forces and spirits above you that are watching. And ultimately, Yahweh Ba'ashmi Amshah, he's watching. So don't get confounded. Don't be dismayed. Don't be, you're losing sleep at night. You're going to have those emotions. Even Jeremiah wept. Ezra was mad. Our fathers weep and they mourn about the condition of our people. But no, there be higher than they, the Most High. He even told Ezra, you're going to love your creature more than me. Nobody loves the children of Israel more than Yahweh Ba'ashmi Amshah, who made them, who formed them. The Most High, when I read Psalms, I read this. Let me go to Psalms chapter 7 and verse 11. The Most High judgeth the righteous, and the Most High is angry with the wicked every day. That's real. Imagine being angry with the wicked every day for 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Don't you know how much is fueling and the Most High is ready to cry? Like a fierce man of war, like it tells in Isaiah the 42nd chapter. I will know more. Let me get that real quick. Right? Isaiah 42 and 13. The Lord shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yea, roar. he shall prevail against his enemies. I have long time holding my peace. I have been still and refrained myself. Now will I cry like a travailing woman. I will destroy and devour at once. So the Lord is holding his peace, man, at all of the murder, the oppression, the killings, the lynchings, the suicides on the tree, the industrial prison complex. You even had this Edomite pastor, which I wanted to show. I showed that. Okay, we know he was found lynched. Look at this. Oh, this is not what I wanted to show, but you had this too, man. Can't do damn nothing, man. Look at him grabbing up the Jake. Walking down the street, Esau could just grab you up. Look at this. Right? And that young brother got a lot of restraint, man. He got a lot of discipline. The Most High put a spirit on him. Because your natural reaction is like, man, get the fuck off of me, man. You know? So you had that, then you had this damn, where is this at? Oh, look at this. I gotta play this one too, man. It's a lot, man. Matter of fact, let me close out the ones I played already. So I can kind of, oh yeah, I'm gonna play that one. I played that one. Right? Played that one. Oh, not gonna play that one. Played that one. So Salakia. Now check this out. Hold on. Right? The Lord is yet going to choose Jerusalem. Look at this. This Eve, man. It says this young woman was followed and targeted by a state trooper who refused to explain why. The video shows the woman scared for her life and the trooper who said he was scared of her, the state trooper. Old white man said he did this because he was scared of the young 19-year-old so-called black woman. Check it out.
Listen to this. Why don't you step out of the car?
No, what am I stepping out of the car for?
I don't need a reason to ask you to step out.
You do need a reason. You do. What's the reason?
So they was following her for a long time for no reason. No reason.
What's the reason though?
That he's scared of me, Mom.
And Esau said, I'm scared of you. I need you to get out the car. So they want to say that as a reason to say, oh, I was justified in killing her. I was scared for my life. That's why we hate you damn white men, man. You devils. Yeah, we said it. Right? One thing about us, we're not the Israelites that say, well, we don't hate white people. We do hate the so-called white man. We hate everything about them. Well, I don't hate. God hates them. No, we hate them too because the Most High put in our spirit to hate them, man. David hated them with a perfect hatred, man. Proverbs 8:13 tells you to hate the forward heart, the proud look. Psalms 97:10. Sirach 27:24 and down says, I have hated many things, but nothing like him, for the Lord will hate him. Ecclesiastes 3, the Lord said it's a time for love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace. This damn double talking about I was scared of her. Damn, some young 19-year-old girl, man. You're a trained officer, man. You're trained to shoot and kill. This is a 19-year-old. Look at this.
Listen to this. Why don't you step out of the car?
No, what am I stepping out of the car for?
I don't need a reason to ask you to step out.
You do need a reason. You do. What's the reason? What's the reason though?
That he's scared of me, Mom.
That's not what I said.
He just said he's scared of me.
All right, next thing you know, she has a weapon. She's reaching for a weapon. She's got a gun. I was scared of her. Play this one more time.
Listen to this. Why don't you step out of the car?
No, what am I stepping out of the car for?
I don't need a reason to ask you to step out.
You do need a reason. You do. What's the reason? What's the reason though?
That he's scared of me, Mom.
Any of us. That's not what I said.
He just said he's scared of me.
Here in the background, you got to do all that. Right? You see that? Now, this is what's going on in the earth, man. Right? But the watchers are watching. Right? This is the one of the last clips I wanted to show.
The Hamites have been assigned
This Edom.
to a civilizational.
Now, this guy's for real. He's preaching that the Israelites should be colonized by the Edomites. And that's the only way to restore the earth. That's what he said. He said the Edomites have to enslave the Israelites. That is the only way to bring the earth back in its proper order. He's a pastor.
The Hamites have been assigned to a civilizational station of subordination and dependence. And the answer to this paradigm is not endless foreign money. That's not the answer to this problem. The answer is to return to European Christian colonization of African nations. I believe that's truly the answer, and let me tell you why. It's the only thing that has historically worked, that has shown fruit. I'm not talking about overtaking Africa. I'm not talking about enslaving Africans. I'm not talking about exploiting Africans. But I'm talking about establishing order, godly leadership, and carrying the gospel to their lands. In fact, the only times that African nations have seen significant and sustained civilizational improvement, and I'm talking about infant mortality rates going down, I'm talking murder going down, I'm talking disease going down, tribal wars season. The only time Africa has ever seen that happen in being sustained is when they have come under Japhethite supervision.
So that's Esau for you, man. Right? That's Esau for you. The only time that you're in order is what so-called, and he calls himself a Japhite. What he's saying is the only time that the Negro could be in order is when he's submitting to the so-called white man. Right? That's the only reason and the only way. Let's go to Isaiah 14. Right? Because the Most High said in Zechariah 1, he's going to yet choose Jerusalem. Isaiah 14:1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them, and the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So they're all going into slavery, man. Every so-called white man, white woman, all these heathen are all going into captivity. And they're going into captivity for 1,000 years, the so-called white man. And after that, he's going to be exterminated off the earth. He's going to get exterminated off the earth. And the times are drawing nigh where you're not going to see any more more Edomites, man. The Lord speaks about that in Job, the 20th chapter, Psalms, the 37th chapter, Job, the 18th chapter. So look at these Edomites now while you can, but we know something that they don't. They think they're going to be here forever. We know that they won't. They think that the Lord said their inward thought is that their houses shall continue, to all generations, paraphrasing. We know the Most High got something for them. And the beautiful thing about it is we're going to have a hand in it. Right? Let me get that in Ezekiel chapter 25. We're going to have a hand in it, man. Right? And I want it, man. I want vengeance. I want to be a part of it. Right? I want to be selected by Yahweh Ba'ashmiel Shai to have a two-edged sword in my hand for vengeance against a so-called white man. Right? That's part of it. That's a reward. That's part of this thing. You got brothers saying, well, I don't know if I want to do that. Well, brother, you don't need to be around us, man. I'm scared. And you ask brother to get his sword. He fumbling his sword. He dropped his sword. He's missing the Edomites on purpose with his sword. Tell him to run away. Tell him to here we come. Here the elect come. You need brothers that got vengeance on their mind, man. That want to get back. And we're going to be invincible. We're going to have immortal bodies. And the angels are going to be with us. This is Ezekiel 25:12. Thus saith Yahweh, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith Yahweh. So how is the Lord going to get up with the so-called white man? He's going to use the Israelites. He's going to use us. Heads chopped off, shoulders chopped off, women thrust through, children dashed to pieces. That's what the Most High is going to do. So there's hope. I'm excited, man. I know we see these things. We hear the screams and the cries that might put a spirit on the brother, and you got a right to be upset. That's Deuteronomy 28:34. So shall thine eyes be mad for the sight of what thou shalt see, paraphrasing. So you're going to be mad, but you have to have hope in the Most High. That the Most High is going to be with us, to deliver us, and for us to put our hand on him. That's why it's so important to keep pushing. That's another reason why, brothers, you need to keep studying, keep praying, keep doing this work. Don't give up. Don't faint. Don't waver. Don't look back. Don't go back in the world. Don't put your hand to sin. We got work we got to do. And the work don't stop on this side. We got work to do in the world to come. And our first task is going to be beating these Edomites to death, man. And these nations, enslaving them and putting this earth back in order. And I'm excited. So with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Mashiach Wamalak Yahushai. Most High willing you are edified. Keep the Sabbath holy. No buying, no selling, no cooking, no work, no sex on the Sabbath, no speaking your own words, no doing your own pleasures, no thinking evil thoughts, no madness, no lewdness, no confusion, no discord, no doubt, no infidelity, no manner of madness, no manner of utter confusion and wind. Stay in the spirit. Brothers should be reading, studying. It is a holy convocation. You brothers, if you could travel, man. Gather together with brothers that are like-minded. You sisters should gather together with sisters that are like-minded. This is a holy day, a sanctified day through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashmiel Shai, man. You should be meditating in the law, examining your spirit, writing your precepts out, challenging yourself, quizzing yourself, man. Going over the videos, going over your notes, your highlights, your flashcards, praying and calling on the name of Yahweh Ba'ashmiel Shai, begging for salvation, begging for mercy. You understand? And being in a righteous, virtuous spirit in the last days. So again, Most High willing you are edified. Kwam Yashala. Shalom.